Yo, Still Mills, what's the deal, man, bro? I've had a couple of days to marinate on this bullshit press conference, man. And the more I think about it, the more irritating I get. The more irritating I get, man. What's the use of doing all of the interviews and all the talking before and after the press conference and then going radio silent during the press conference? I just really don't understand that shit. You've done a multitude of interviews after the press conference. You dig? If it's just about being quiet and staying silent until the fight, why even do the press conference? Why even show up? Why not just tell him I can't sit next to that nigga? Why do all that? And like I said, some shit makes sense to certain people. It makes sense in your head. Nobody else can understand it but you. It makes sense to you. Nobody else, you. I get all that. Because I've done shit where I'm like, this shit makes sense to me. It may not be logical to anybody else, but from my paradigm, it makes sense. And later on in life, I realized, yeah, that was pretty dumb, my nigga. Like, you should have just did yada, yada, yada. I don't understand why go radio silent during the press con. Everything that you want, everything that you've said before the fight for a year and a half and after not the fight, but everything you said after the fight and before the press conference for a year and a half, and then after the press conference, why couldn't you say it during the press conference when that man is sitting there in your face? You dig? Like, I can understand, man, I don't want to say nothing to risk jeopardizing this fight. I get that, man. I really get that. I do. But you still had a face-off with the nigga. When the motherfucker's staring you down, mugging you, nigga, that's a bigger trigger than words. Nigga, what the fuck is you looking at? I've listened to a few interviews and people talk about Deontay Wilder's silence and try to justify it, and they say, oh, Tyson Fury looks nervous. He should have stacked with you. Neither one of them looked nervous. I didn't get that vibe from either one. Despite how much I disagree with what Deontay Wilder did during the press conference, I think it's due to ego tripping. It was never a question of nerves with me. It was his ego is just crazy as a motherfucker. I don't dig that shit. So it was never oh man, none of them look shook. Both of them look confident. The difference was Tyson was talking his shit. This is what a press conference does. You answer the questions. You answer questions, and you can't say he about business and then he goes and he does interviews after the press conference. Technically, you can say it. You're well within your rights to say, well, shit, he can do what he want to do. Technically, you can, but you got to look how you got to think how you look after the fact. That can spell, yeah, I am a little nervous. Even though I don't think you're nervous. You're gonna be perceived in a certain manner when you do certain shit. I was listening to 78 Sports and he said, oh man, they just wanted to twist Deontay Wilder's words. I mean, not necessarily. At all, actually. We got questions. Niggas got questions. Motherfuckers want to know. They want to ask you why this and that and the third. And they want to hear you address the culprit and the man of, responsible for doing it. That's what they want. It ain't about twisting his words. It's about that man is right there. Talk to that nigga. Holla at him and let that man know your grievances, man. Don't just put on your motherfucking headphones and let motherfucking Malik Scott do all your talking. It's not about making him look bad and twisting his words, even though I would most definitely twist his words. Because usually motherfuckers are getting me, oh man, you twisting my words. Actually, I'm not. I'm challenging your stance. And there's no clarity in what it is that you're saying. So according to you, you're on the defensive. So for you to defend yourself is to say, oh, you twisting my words. That's not what I meant. Specify it then. But you look goofy doing that shit, my nigga. Like, you can't go on, you can't, technically you can, but how do you look when you go online, make videos about how this man cheated countless interviews, and then when he's sitting there in your face, you say nothing. You say nothing. And even on your interview that you did with Ellie Seckbeck talking about how you want to kill this nigga, like, man, come on, that shit is wild. Like, that shit really ain't cool, bro. Like, we get you're in a sport where you can legally do that. We get it. But the one and the yearning to do that is a different ball game. Like, I just, people speak words, people speak shit into existence, man, through words. People speak that shit into existence. You dig? If you have a set goal, you have to put yourself in a mind frame to get on a path to where you're ready to achieve that goal. I want to learn Spanish and Swahili. Spanish being, my wife is Chicana. I want to learn that language. We just did this bankruptcy thing. They've already said they'll include my student loan or whatever in that bankruptcy. The minute I get that shit off of my record, I'm signing back up for Spanish courses. I want to learn 2 different languages. I'm already in that mind state. When you want to do something, you put yourself there doing it. So if you talking about you want to kill a nigga in the ring, you're already in that mind state. And where he's at, where his mind is at, is real, like, it's twisted. I don't know the name of this movie. I cannot remember the name of this movie, man, but it was a movie about a dude. I can't remember what it was but he just went through drag amounts of traumatic experiences in his life. And his daughter ended up falling off of a building or something like that. And at that minute, his mind warped. It completely warped. In his mind, he was taking his daughter to the hospital so they can resuscitate her and bring her back to life. In his mind, this is what was going on. And his mind was so warped that became his reality. That is in fact what he was doing. He was taking his daughter to the hospital. When in all actuality, he killed her. Or no, he didn't kill her. Her body was in the trunk or the back seat of his car or whatever. And in the process of him trying to process what just transpired with his daughter, he literally accidentally killed his wife. Like, literally. He did something. He pushed his wife down on the ground, and they was outside. She smacked her head up against the concrete. When he took, he was, they was questioning him, and he's like, yo, I know I sound crazy, but this is what happened. And when he went to liberate his daughter from the hospital, he's envisioning organ trafficking shit going on in the basement of the hospital. He was that far gone in his mind. But the reality was, his wife and daughter was in the back seat dead. His mind completely snapped, and he lost all grasp of reality. That really reminds me of what Deontay Wilder is going through now. Maybe not to that effect, but just the fact that you're able to bring any solid and definitive proof of your claims. You are so disgruntled with the fact that you lost in the manner that you lost in, you think everybody conspired against you to murder you. This is an attempted murder claim. And you're fixated on that point, and can't nobody tell you different. Nobody can tell you that Mark Breland didn't spike your water, and the ref was breath was a crab in a bucket and a drunk. Nobody can tell you that an egg weight wasn't placed in Tyson Fury's glove. Nobody can tell you that. You're not ready to receive that information. You're not ready to receive the fact that it was your inadequacies that lost you that fight. Nobody can tell you that. And because of you being in that mind state, now you're ready. You know, you've always had this mentality. Why not kill somebody in the ring? That's just really immoral, dog. Especially of a man who practices, spirituality. This isn't war. This isn't the French and the British and the fucking Spaniards conquering Haiti. This isn't that. It's a boxing match. It's a boxing match. So for you to profess Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior and all that shit, that is an immediate contradiction to your ideology. That is an immediate contradiction. Wanting to kill somebody, you want to do that. That just isn't a good look, fam. That isn't a good look. And you got your dumbass cronies who are like hyping that shit. I don't know if you know a killer, bro. If you've ever shook in the hand of a killer, of a nigga who knows. Everybody in the hood know he clipped that nigga right there. I don't know if you know somebody who's done some wild shit like that, but it's very traumatic. It's very traumatic. It's very traumatic knowing that, man, any day I walk out of here, them niggas still feel some type of way about that. I got a homie from around my way who clipped a reputable out here. A reputable in front of his son at a barbershop. A reputable. And his homeboy was killed in return for that. That has to fuck with you. That has to fuck with you. I'm so mad I can't get you. I'm gonna take it out on your homie. Rest in peace to both the niggas, because they was both reputables. And the traumatic, the stress that goes along with that is real. You can't compare it to anything. You see the streets wear on them. You see the stress. You see the alcohol. You see the body count that he didn't put in. You know what I'm saying? You see dead homies. You see prison stints. You see all of that in their face. All of that. Mainly the paranoia of niggas in the streets knowing you can't go nowhere with your kids. Cause a nigga air you out with your kids with you. You gotta be real covert in how you move with your children, with your wife, your lady. You have to be real covert. You can't go nowhere without, hey yo, I gotta have one of the homies with me just in case some shit go down. He can watch my back. That's the stress and paranoia of a killer, dog. A nigga who done put in pain out here. The fact that you want to become a part of that shit willingly is kind of is unsettling, dog. Even though you're in a position where you can legally do it and get away with it, that ain't the point. Integrity and morality that's supposed to supersede all of that shit. You can't sit here and why not kill somebody? Why not do it? I can legally do it and get away with it. Why not do it? What do you mean, why not do it? Sergey, I said it once, I say it again. Sergey Kovalev is a nigga who killed a nigga in his hometown, and he cannot perform properly in his hometown because of that. And fuck Sergey Kovalev. Just to be on the same, just so we clear. And I was a fan of that man at a point in time. So I just think, you really need to reevaluate yourself, man. You really do, because there's a power in words. There's a power in words that you can't take back. No matter how many times you apologize for it. No matter it's really immoral, dog. It's really immoral. And this isn't, you need to check yourself, all in all. You just need to check yourself on certain shit, man, because you haven't even rectified shit with, you haven't rectified with the fact that you lost in the manner that you lost in. And you have yet to bring forth any sort of evidence proving your claims. That's the key factor in all this. You have your people, you have a legion of people that is at your back, that got your back, and that's everything you say, they riding with you. Through and through. Everything you say, they riding with you. Provide evidence. Fuck this circumstantial shit. Circumstantial evidence is not the move, my nigga. Like, Photoshop pictures is not the move. It's not the move. Gloves are made of plastic, leather, bro. Yes, a glove can bend like that. A glove can most definitely bend in the way that he was bending it. And it isn't like he puts the gloves on literally before he makes his ring entrance. No, he's warming up with those gloves in the back. He's punching. He's making contact and impact with the mitts as he's warming up. So it ain't like them gloves is fresh out of the pack. Technically they are, but your body isn't going to be the first thing that comes in contact with them gloves. So he's already putting wear and tear on the gloves because he's hitting the mitts before the fight. Fam, you just gotta, you're just gonna have to come to the conclusion that you lost it. All the pouting and crybaby antics and shit is just out the window. It's not a good look. I don't give a fuck how anybody tries to swing it. It's not a good look. It's all good. You lost. Niggas lose every day, B. Stop with the goofy shit. Stop with the goofy shit.